Hey y'all, it's another day's journey and I'm glad about it. Welcome to my channel, y'all. It's officially spring. It's time to start planting. The last frost date has happened. I'm excited. In this video though, I thought I would give you an April garden tour so that we can document, memorialize what the garden looked like the last month before the summer garden starts to kick in. So as you know, we have started to plant the tunnel, right? We still have some stuff left over from the spring and all that. So I'm going to give you a tour of what's going on in the tunnel today. I'm going to show you the outside. So basically what I'm focused on the next few days is prepping and planning for our big planting party. So if you're brand new to me, my name is Barbara. I live in Tennessee in Zone 7B, and we live on 75 acres of land. We have 3 growing spaces. This is space 1, which is our high tunnel, which is 30 by 96. We also have space 2, which is our in-ground growing space, which is 4,000 square feet. And then space 3 are 5 raised beds behind our house. And we actually started with 4 raised beds behind our house just 4 years ago, and we have expanded because your girl like me fell in love with gardening, and I kept just wanting more. So I'm so glad that you stopped by my channel. This channel is all about inspiring and motivating you to grow food, to grow your own food. And it's coming from somebody who had never put their hands in dirt, and now just look, y'all, look what the Lord has done. Not only has the Lord blessed abundantly the things that we have sought to grow, but he has given me a love and a passion for gardening. This is not my full-time gig. This is my side. I hate to say a side hustle because that just sounds like, you know, kind of cheapening it. But I do this because I love it, right? We do have a farm that we just started selling our produce last year. So we do generate I guess you would say some income. We definitely output more than what we give in. So it's certainly not a business yet that is profitable where we're gaining more than what we're putting in. But that's neither here nor there. I'm grateful for the opportunity to garden and to grow food. And in this channel, I just try to get you to grow food and to be encouraged and to be inspired and to go past the limits that you think that you can do. I encourage you to take risk in your own garden. I encourage you to try new things, and I encourage you to learn each and every day on this journey. That's why this channel is called A Gardener's Journey. So if you've been rocking with me since the very beginning, you know how far we have come. Now, I started my YouTube journey just 2 years ago, so I was already 2 years in, but you go back to some of those earlier videos, you'll see. But I'm happy because y'all, all the things that we have worked for, it's now time to start planting. So my last frost date was actually a week ago, but can you believe this week it was 37 at night, 2 nights in a row? Go figure. But it's always like that. You know, that's why I say, you know, it's a estimated last frost date, and we didn't have any frost. So technically we haven't had any frost, but the temperatures were low. Too low for me to plant outside, but I do have some stuff planted in the tunnel. But let me show you around and show you what's going on. And I thought I would do this because as I'm planning and prepping for our big planting day, let me tell you about that. So I have an annual planting party. It did not start off as an annual planting party. It started off 3 years ago where 2 of my girlfriends came out here and said, hey, we're going to help you plant the garden. They are not gardeners whatsoever. And this is really the only time they come out here. And I told them, I said, if you help me plant, you can, you know, get the food or whatever. They probably live 45, 50 minutes away from me. But y'all, they come out here and plant. They don't ever come get food. They don't ask for food. I think one time last year they passed through here and they got some watermelons. But again, they enjoyed it so much that they made it a thing. It was never my intention for it to be a thing, but now it's a thing. They're like, hey, what's our planting day? And so we're going to be having that this upcoming weekend. But there's some stuff I got to do to plan and prepare for that. But before we start that phase 2, let's see what's going on in the high tunnel at the end of April, because y'all know it's about to get crazy and I love it. So let's start with, let me take you off the tripod and let's start with the raised beds. Okay, so this is bed number 1. We have 6 raised beds in the tunnel. This is our lettuce bed. You can see the lettuce is doing quite well. It is full, needs to be harvested some more. These first 2 rows are very established. And then, of course, I planted some more here. That's coming up in the middle. And then you can see I got some romaine there. This bed is a mixture of lettuces. In the top left, this is red sail from Botanical Interest. That behind it is Merlot from Rare Seeds. This right here is Vivian Romaine from Botanical Interest. That's also Vivian Romaine. And then in the middle we have, oh, what's that red one in the back? I don't remember. We have Muir, M-U-I-R, from Johnny Seeds. That is a heat-tolerant lettuce that will hopefully last us through the summer. So, as you can see, there's a variety of lettuces in this bed. This whole bed will be filled with lettuce. The goal is all summer long. Okay, so let's talk about this lettuce, because if you're in my zone, you're probably thinking, how are you having lettuce all summer long? Because it gets hot. Lettuce likes cool weather. It likes cold weather, right? And so typically in the South, after about the end of May, the lettuce starts to bolt. Last year, I started this quote unquote project experiment to see if I can have lettuce all year long. I went to a garden class a part of that garden class that I went to was a guy that grows lettuce 365, 7 days a week. His name is Ray Tyler. You can look him up. He has a lettuce masterclass. He is in my zone. Like, he is only 2 hours from me. I went to his garden workshop. It was a 2-day workshop. I went at the beginning of last year. That did wonders for my knowledge, for my confidence. And in part of that class, or part of that workshop, I saw his lettuce, right? And I saw how he grows it all year long. He has a book about it. He has a masterclass about it. So it can be done. And so last year we experimented with that. And pretty much, if you follow me, you saw that I had lettuce pretty much all summer long. There might have been a couple of weeks in there that I didn't have lettuce. So last year I was experimenting with the different varieties to see which ones would be good. And so the one that I have in there now, Muir, M-U-I-R, is a heat tolerant lettuce. And I'm trialing some other lettuces this summer as well. You'll see me. I already got the seeds. I just haven't started them yet. But basically, I'm trying to rotate my lettuce and start new lettuce every 3 to 4 weeks. Sometimes every 2 weeks. So that way, because again, the lettuce is the freshest, obviously, on the first harvest. Now, for you and I, or for me, let me speak for me. For me, as me growing the lettuce, I eat it. You know, I take several harvests and eat it, and it's still good to me. But in terms of when I sell lettuce, I try to give the freshest cut. So that's why I'm doing so many successions of lettuce, because we are selling it, selling a lot of it is what I'm saying. So I try to give the client, the customer, the freshest cut. So that's what's going on with the lettuce. Keep watching me. You're going to see we're going to have lettuce all summer long. It's all in about the process of what you do and also the variety that you do. So it's not just the variety, because you can go buy that M-U-I-R, that Muir, and still not have success and think it's not going to work. Again, there's a whole system and a whole process. I don't have time to go through all of that right now. Plus, it's his content, so to speak. So if you want it, look up Ray Tyler. Yeah, you can find, just type in Ray Tyler. I can't remember the name of his farm, Rose Creek Farms, if you're interested. So now let's take a look at the herbs. That is chamomile right there. That's lemon balm right there. They are both doing pretty good. And then over here is where we're going to start talking about the carrots. And so the plan for this bed, after I harvest the carrots and after the cilantro bolts and all that, then this bed, we will probably do green beans. That is an easy crop that has like a 45, 60-day maturity, a bush green bean. We'll put that in there, and that'll be what'll go in that bed. So this really can just hang out, because I'm not pressed to start the green beans right away. And this bed is the first raised bed that has the summer stuff in it that I'm showing you. So this bed is full of non-spicy peppers, as well as you can see there's some flowers in the back. I have some nasturtiums, some Persian cress, and some marigolds. But overall, this bed is non-spicy peppers. Here in these two pots is a lemon and a lime tree. So we'll watch those grow throughout the season. I just got those, and I got those from Stark Brothers. Okay, so this is the first bed on the other side, on the left-hand side when you walk into the tunnel. This is what I call my pollinator patch. This whole raised bed will be full of flowers for the summer to bring the pollinators in, but really just to make me happy because I love flowers. So I have a mixture of flowers in here. I have marigold, I have dahlias, I have yarrow, I have cosmos, I have marigolds, I have aster. And I think I have some status in here as well. Oh, and some celosia. The only thing I don't have, and I have a couple of zinnias. So the only thing I don't have in here is a sunflower. I'll probably pop one of those in there. But it looks bare now, but you just wait. Once it fills out and gets to growing, this whole bed will be full. Okay, so this bed here is another bed that we did for the summer, quote unquote. But we have some stuff left over in here from our fall and winter. Look at this beautiful bok choy. That is just beautiful. That was one that I left in here that was still growing and it was doing fine. So we left that in here. And then in the back is our spinach that I left that's still doing good. It needs to be harvested. That'll probably be the last harvesting off of that. But then everything else in the bed we planted for the summer. So you can see our celery has done quite well. It has grown so much. We just put this in here a month ago and it was tiny. And then look at our dill. So we have some dill here. You guys, if you saw that video when we planted this out, it was not that big. And then we have some basil there. We have some mammoth basil, some lettuce leaf basil, and then there's just a marigold in that corner. So I'm really, really, really proud of this bed. So one of the reasons why I'm so proud of that bed is because that bed represents things that I have not been successful with. And this is the first time that I've had success because that celery I grew from seed. That dill I grew from seed. I have tried dill. This is my third year trying dill and I never could get it past the seedling stage. And then the celery, the same thing. Y'all, it's looking good. And the dill, that's the biggest I've ever seen and that's not even big, but that's the biggest I've ever seen my dill get because it was like this. And I would put it in the bed and it would just kind of like wither away. So that bed makes me so happy. Okay, so this last bed is collard greens. And I know you think this can't be true, but y'all, I just harvested a whole bunch of collard greens. I don't think I did that on video. Yeah, I just harvested a whole bunch of collard greens literally 6 days ago, and we had it down to the we skimmed it, we really did, and it is back. It's unbelievable how fast they grew. So I'll get another harvest, and I'm debating on just taking the harvest and then pulling these out so I can go ahead and plant. So what's going to go in this bed from a summer standpoint are spicy peppers. So, but look at these greens, y'all. They look so good. I harvested, I want to say I got 6 gallon size bags. I mean, y'all, 6 days ago, literally. Okay, y'all, snapdragons looking so good. So this is bed 1 on the left hand side, and then over here I just watered, so that's why there's some laying down in the middle. These are the ones on the right hand side. They are so beautiful. Time for me to harvest for a new bouquet in the house. But let me show you how our blueberries are doing so far, our trees. Now, y'all, this is my first time, so I don't know what it's supposed to look like. So y'all tell me. I see these little white things forming. I'm assuming those are flowers. And again, I don't think I'm supposed to have blueberries this year. It's supposed to be next year. So y'all tell me, what does it do in year 1 with the blueberries? This one is just green. That one's just green. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4. I put 2 in the same pot. Yeah, y'all, tell me what this means, because I don't know. Okay, so now we're in the in-ground space in the tunnel. Remember, these 2 rows on the right-hand side are all of our peppers. And so we did cover them the 2 nights that it got down to 37. And for the most part, they still look good. It looks like I lost a couple, but I don't know that I lost a couple because of the whether they were already looking a little weak. And, you know, sometimes it's like that. It could have been transplant shock. I'm not sure. But for the most part, these are looking good, y'all. They still look good. They still look healthy. So, no complaints there. Now, this is a kale that was left over, and I just left it because it was still doing good, and it hadn't bolted. So, I'm just letting it grow, and I'll get me some more kale. It'd be good if I can get some fresh, because everything I have now is in the freezer. So, that's one kale that's hanging. I'm gonna let it hang out. I'm experimenting to see how long it will last. But yeah, our peppers are still looking good. They need water, but the drip is about to come on in just a few minutes. Now, let's look at this cabbage, this long cabbage that was right here. Look at that. That looks good. But wait till I show you the other side. We'll go to the other side. Let me show you the eggplant. Now, I have not been successful at growing eggplant. This is my 4th summer trying. And I just keep on trying. It always gets insect damage. Always, early on. I'm going to talk about that in a minute. But you look, y'all already have a flower on one of my pepper plants. That's exciting because that's going to be a bell pepper. Okay, so first on the peppers. I was saying that it's been 37. It was 37 2 nights in a row here. So while I was gone out of town, my husband covered the peppers, and so far they look good. I got to replace 2, but that's okay because I got to. That's why it's good to have extra seedlings, right? Because you can always just pop them in there when something doesn't go well. And I don't know if it was transplant shock. They were already looking a little weak, or it almost like they weren't down in there good enough. Who knows? It's not a big deal because I got 2 that can go right in there and take its place. But on the eggplant, I keep trying eggplant. I have not been successful. I think I have grown maybe 3, not 3 plants, y'all. 3 eggplants. Don't get it twisted. I've tried several plants. I think I have yielded, and I think 3, I can remember 2 for sure. I'm giving myself a 3rd one for memory's sake. Like maybe there was one I don't remember. Definitely 2, 3, but no more than that, y'all, in 3 years. And I'm not too pressed about it because I don't love eggplant. I like eggplant. And to me, I don't need a lot of it. So I have scaled back a lot. I think I started, I don't remember how many eggplants I started. I may have started maybe 10 plants. I don't know, just to see if they would germinate. And I think I got 6 out of the deal, maybe. I think I have 2 planted in there. And they've been in the ground the same as the peppers. The peppers, no disease. Eggplant leaves already looking lacy. Already. It's like that every season. Now, I've heard that if you can just make it through that they'll bounce back and they'll grow eggplants. Well, last year, mine didn't. The year before that, I probably pulled them up because it was looking so bad. I'm going to let them hang out for a little while longer. See what happens. That is the fairy tale eggplant. And I also did this year some Black Beauty, which I've done Black Beauty before. So those are the only 2 kinds that I have tried. If you're in my zone and you have a success story with eggplant, let me know. Again, I ain't too pressed because I don't love it. I just like it. And I don't want an abundance of it because you can't really preserve it. At least I don't know how you preserve it. I can't imagine canning no eggplant. I don't want to see that in a jar at all. The only way I have eaten eggplant that I like is fried eggplant parmesan. That ain't the best for you. That's the only way I eat it. So again, I ain't pressed. I'm just growing it to see if I can. And if I can, I'll sell some of it. Just like that. But let's go over. We're going to look at the tomatoes. And then we're going to look at these cabbages. So for those that are new, let me give you a little backstory on what I'm about to show you. So you see I planted my peppers. I planted the peppers on April the 9th in the tunnel because it's covered, it's protected and all that. That was before my last frost date. I explained why I did that. I also planted my tomatoes a few days later. I have cabbages in here. I have about 25 cabbages that I didn't think, I'm like, they're not going to make it, but I need the space. I need the space for my tomatoes. My tomatoes that are supposed to go in these spaces are looking, they need a forever home. I have fertilized, I have up potted, I have repotted, and they like, sis, until you give me some more to grow in, I ain't doing nothing. They don't look great because they need to go in the ground. Y'all said, Barbara, leave those cabbages alone. Now, half of you said, leave those cabbages alone. And the rest of you said, cut the leaves, get them out of there, and make room for the tomatoes. Now, y'all already know. If you know me and you've been watching me, you already know where my mind was. Cabbages, you got to go. I need these tomatoes. I need space for tomatoes. Tomatoes is a higher commodity than cabbages because I can do a lot with tomatoes. Spaghettis, need I go on? But y'all, my cabbages were looking so good. So I've gone out of town. I've come back. I've given them their 2 weeks. They got like 3 more days before it's been 2 weeks. But I've given them some time to see what they're going to do. I'm going to show you what they looking like. First, let's look at the tomatoes that we planted. Then let's look at these cabbages. And y'all going to see what the cabbages have decided to do. Okay, the tomatoes are looking good. No issues whatsoever. I'll just do a close up. And tomatoes do better. They can take temperatures below 50 degrees, whereas the peppers, they'll definitely stunt. We didn't even cover the tomatoes just because I wasn't here and I was trying to give my husband the least amount of dew. So I was just like, just do the peppers. Focus on that. But you can see they look great. No issues whatsoever. And they've been in the ground. They got more space. They actually look even better than they did when I put them in here. Like, they've grown. So, no issues. Then we come over here to this row. This is all the tomatoes. And then that row there is starting to be peppers. Peppers look good. Look at these cabbages. Y'all, I came back in town today and I went over to look at these cabbages. First, we're gonna skip all these. Let's go to this one right here. This one right here. Do you see that? Do you see that? Y'all, that's a real cabbage. That's a real cabbage. Let me back up so you can see. That's a real cabbage. Okay, so I'm just going to go down the row and we're going to count how many cabbage heads we have. Like, this is one. It's small, but it's still a cabbage head. So, we're going to say this is number 3. Because remember, we saw one on the other side. We just saw the big one. Now we saw this one. This is 3. This one right here, it's forming, but it ain't really there yet. Okay? Same. It's forming. It's forming. You not even forming, so you definitely coming up. We just gonna use you for leaves. You definitely coming up. This one is forming. Forming. It's thinking about it. It's thinking about it. Okay. And it's thinking about it. So that's the first row. Now let's look at this row. Now that's a head. Smaller, but it's a head. That one's thinking about it. That one is a head. So that was 4. This is 5. This is 6. That's just leaves. You coming up. You coming up. That's leaves. This is our big one that we saw. Small. You just leaves. You definitely coming up. Okay, this is a head. That's probably number 7. I lost count, but I think we had 7. Leaves, leaves, leaves. I feel like I screamed in y'all's ear. Did you see that cabbage? That is the biggest one. That's a real cabbage. Now, we harvested some cabbages a few weeks ago. I think I harvested 6. It was the picture. You saw it. But that's the biggest one I have ever done. Like, it's big. Y'all, I have struggled with cabbage. And I love cabbage. Eggplant, like, it's on the meter, 0 to 10. It's like a 2. Cabbage, I love cabbage. So I'm going to keep trying until I get it because I eat it and I love it. That is a real cabbage that we grew. That's why I tell y'all, don't give up. Just keep up. Come on, fly, spider. Don't give up. That's why I tell y'all that. It may take you a couple of seasons. It may take you 4, like me. But guess what? I got some cabbage that I grew. Don't give up. Keep going. It's a journey. But let's talk about these cabbages and what we're going to do. So we have about 7 that are heads. And one that's a real, like, it's a regular size cabbage you would buy in the store. The other ones are smaller, but I'll still take it. Then we have, I didn't count, but we probably have, if there's 25 cabbages, we have 7 that are heads. We probably had 10 that was forming. And then the remainder was just leaves. Just like, it ain't formed nothing, it's just leaves. Okay, those are definitely coming up because you definitely don't have time to get your act together before it's time to put these tomatoes in the ground. The cabbages, oh, it's so hard. It's so hard. So definitely I can pull the 7 because it doesn't make sense to me to let them get bigger. Okay, and let me address this. Some other people in the comment section has said, well, Barbara, just put your tomatoes somewhere else. I ain't got nowhere else to put them. I have tomatoes that were for the greenhouse specifically, and I have tomatoes that's going out there, that I have tomatoes that's going to go in the back of the house. Well, they can't go in the back of the house because we got garlic and onions. The ones that are going to go out here, already marked, claimed. I mean, like, they already, we got those. So if I take the ones that's supposed to go out here and put them there, I'm still going to have other tomatoes left. And you may say, well, why don't you just sell those? Because I don't want to sell them. Because these right here that's supposed to go in here are greenhouse tomatoes. So they need to be in the tunnel, the ones that I want to put out. And I already got some in there, but I'm trying a new variety that I paid premium seed for. It was premium seed. So that's why they're not going to be sold and they're not going to be thrown away. They're going in this ground. Because I paid $20 for the pack of seeds, they're going in the ground, and we're going to see what's going to happen, because they'll produce more tomatoes, which will produce more income, more sauce, and all that stuff. So, and when I'm weighing stuff, the tomatoes are going to win. But I am going to take these cabbages, the ones that we have heads, and then I'm going to take out the ones that just have leaves. I'm going to keep the leaves and chop them and freeze them like you guys said. We're going to do that because I didn't even think about that. So that's a good idea. So they're not going to go to waste. They're not going to go to waste. But I think I've made the decision as I'm talking. We're going to pull out the heads, the ones that are good. We are going to pick up the ones that just got leaves. And then we're going to see what space that leaves. And then the ones that are forming, I may give them another week. Especially if they're on the road where the cucumbers are going to go. Because cucumbers grow pretty fast. So that's the plan. That is the plan. And that is the garden tour. It's the last week of April. Things are shaping up quite nicely. I feel like we are now really transition going into the summer season. All of the beds in here are not summer yet. Because I still have the carrots and the cilantro and I have the collard greens, but everything else is. So we are still transitioning. But when I look back on the fall and the winter, it was a great season. Even though we had some of the most horrific damage with the moles and the voles, I still had abundance. Why? Because I keep going and because God is faithful. Okay, guys, now let's take a look at the outside garden space. We have 4 rows of onions. This spacing is 8 inches apart, if I'm not mistaken, but there's 4 rows across. So it's approximately almost 400 onions. You can see it goes all the way down the length of the thing. There's some holes, and we planted every hole, but there's some holes like this one, like it's just weeds growing through. Like, what happened to the onion? I don't know. But we have onions in the majority of them. But again, there are several, like that don't have an onion, that don't have an onion, that doesn't have an onion. So I'm not sure what happened, but I won't complain. If these do well, the ones that actually have onions, then we'll have more onions than we had last year. So this is the first time that we planted out here with these onions. I don't like the fact that with the onion, there's also a lot of weeds because that hole is so big versus when you have a regular plant growing there, there's not enough space for weeds to grow. But hey, like, I just rocking here. But hey, that's neither here nor there. Overall, I think they're looking good. I fertilized them twice now. Once when we planted them, and then another time about 3 weeks after. And so it's probably been at least 3 weeks, I think, since I need to start putting dates on that. It's hard to keep up with. Oh, like, look, I just got tons of weeds. Look at this. Like in this one right here, like my onion, I think that's just been choked out by weeds. That wasn't like that before. Anywho, what I was saying is I don't like the fact that weeds can grow through these holes at all. But that's part of it. You don't know until you try. But also what I wanted to show you is look how clean this garden space is compared to the video a week or a week and a half ago when we were clearing this space out. Y'all, for the most part, we got it done except that section right over there. Okay, y'all can see that's the onions there. This is the rest of the space. This space is 40 by 100, so it's 4,000 square feet. We have 8 100-foot rows. And if you saw the video where this was covered with weeds, where the holes were, that's what was going on. So before we get to the planting party, my husband has to fix this drip and then get rid of these weeds right here. This is the only spot really that we have left. And then he has to redo this paper. But compared to the way it was, much, much better. So as we start to transition to the summer, because some of you didn't do fall and winter, you took a rest break, and there ain't no judgment on that. But as you start to gear up for the summer, be encouraged on the front side, because it's going to get hard. It's going to get tough. It's going to get hot. The insects, the pests, all that. Stay the course. Stay the course. It is better to grow your own food than to go at your grocery store every day of the week. You know what's in it. It tastes better. It's fresher. Now, am I growing everything we eat? No. Do I still go to the grocery store? Yes, every week. So this is not there's no shame in going to the grocery store. Don't misinterpret what I'm saying. I'm saying if you are gardening and you have chosen to garden, stay the course, be encouraged, be inspired. Keep growing food. This is our April tour. The next video that you see on a garden tour in May, all the summer stuff will probably be in by then, and we will be kicking off our summer garden tour series. This is the last one in I would call the fall, winter, spring. I hope that your gardens are doing amazingly well. I hope that you as the gardener are doing well. Pace yourself. Give yourself some downtime, because sometimes the garden is our haven. It's our safe place where we come to rejuvenate. But then sometimes the garden is like work, and you're like, I need a break from the garden. Both are okay. So do what you need for you. Remember, gardening is a journey. Let's grow together. I'll see you next time, friend.